Welcome to devlog number 2. Now, what are we going to be covering in this devlog? So the last thing I just want to talk about is what's going to be in the next devlog. I want to implement the currency system. I'm going to implement the currency system, and then that's what it's going to be on. The next devlog is going to be on the currency system. Yeah, that was a lie. Before we dive headfirst in the currency, I wanted to do some more quality of life stuff, some refactoring, and some polish. So here is our beloved Trello, and this is everything we've done since Devlog 1. So let's just go over it. Starting with the bugs, the stuff that needed to be fixed, the formatting issue. So one of my playtesters had a very tall phone, and well, that's a bad example. It looked like this. So I had incorrectly, well, I didn't really anchor things correctly. It worked for phones that were wide and for phones that were 16:9, but anything taller, and I mean, you can see these giant black spaces. The top black space is okay, but the bottom one is the issue. I fixed that by simply anchoring things differently. So you can see here, I actually anchored with it was V center wide. And what this does is it still keeps it centered no matter how wide it is, but it anchors the top and bottom to the top and bottom of the screen. 2 more bugs. Clicking the tab you are already in plays the change tab sound. That was an issue because you could just keep clicking the tab you were in and it kept spamming the sound. And another tab related bug, if the level is playing but not 1, changing tabs should put the level into edit mode, and it didn't. It just kept playing in the background, which was really weird. Let me just show you that it works now. You can hear the sound, but if I spam on one of them, it doesn't keep playing it. As well, the level's playing and I change tabs, and you can hear the power down sound, and it indeed stopped. To prevent the sound from playing over again, I added a new function called check if tab changed, and this function gets called every time one of the tabs are pressed, and I pass in the index of the tab. So the game pressed tab would be 0, and then level select is 1, etc. If the tab pressed is not equal to current tab is set equal to the tab pressed, so the tab is updated, the current tab number is updated. It plays the sound and it emits the signal. Before, I was just playing the sound every time it was pressed, regardless of the previous tab. Stopping the level from playing when a tab was changed was a little more tricky, mostly because of how I have it set up. It's a little crazy right now, unfortunately, but I probably won't refactor it since I don't really need to do any more work on it. And for the final bug, when completing the last level of a set, and then you go back to the play screen, it's just black. And we fixed that. The solution was to prevent going back to the play screen until a new level is selected. I didn't do that. I didn't really like that. That felt weird. So what did I do instead? The solution I went with, I think, is pretty clever, and it works really well, and it was easy to implement, which is most important. When you go to the next level, the function load next level is called, and the current level path is passed in, as well as the level name. How load next level works is it literally just takes the level name and adds 1. Probably could have done it a different way, like each level has a field that takes in the next level, but it was just I like this implementation. It's just I need to name my levels 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Anyway, when we're on level 5, it knows that the file doesn't exist. Level 6, it knows that level 6 doesn't exist, and well, if it does exist, it loads it. It loads the next one. But if it doesn't exist, it used to just do nothing. Now, we literally just reload the level we were on. You actually hear the level sound playing, but it still brings you back to here. So if you were to press the play button again, or the game tab again, it shows this level. It's not ideal, but it's much better than just showing a black screen of nothingness. I'm thinking the sets will be locked until you complete all the levels in the previous set, or you can spend currency to unlock sets. I think that's the direction I'm going, which is another reason why it's not going to just bring you right to the next level. Those were the bugs. Let's go over everything else. Instead of spawning nodes from global, have a root node and manually put them in. You'll see that we have saving, which is an auto load, global, which is an auto load, and sounds, which is an auto load. And then main. Main is our starting scene. It's always going to be there. And then in main, we have this stuff. I wasn't doing that before. Before, I was from global spawning these nodes in. I think I wanted all of these nodes to be just under root. I think because I wanted them to be easier to access. To have easier access, all you need to do is this. Global, which is accessible everywhere, dot current scene, which is the variable, equals self. So when this is ready, it puts a reference to itself in global. So much easier, makes so much more sense. So yeah. Shadows setting. This was a cool one. Very... not too hard to implement. We have shadows. Okay, hold on. And light. Oh my gosh, why are the shadows so hard to see? All right, we have shadows. Holy moly. And now we don't. And of course, when we exit and go back in, it is saved. So notice how we have no shadows and it's unchecked. You probably noticed this one already. Separate tab for customizations and purchasing currency. Probably noticed this. There's a 5th tab now. No room for any more tabs, but I don't see myself wanting to even add any more tabs. But we have the customization tab, which is what you've already seen. And now the store tab. I have no idea what the currency is going to be called. These buttons don't do anything. They're just placeholders. 200, 1,000, 1,500, that 15,000 actually. That's completely random, but the page is here. The page is here. Up until this point, I kind of had the transition effect invisible. So if you notice that, congrats, you have a pretty good eye. If you didn't, doesn't matter, but it's working. I promise it's working. I just accidentally had it invisible. Another polish thing, reformatting the victory screen. You'll notice how the level complete and congratulations message is up top, and then the buttons are at the bottom. If we do this, you'll notice that the buttons aren't like connected to the words. The idea is that you can kind of see the level behind it. I'm not totally sold on this though. Here is probably the single most important quality of life change that I've made and ever will make in this game. Maybe. If the level is playing and the player taps or drags a piece, it's just tap though, the level stops playing. I had my family playtest this. The biggest thing I saw was when the level was playing, they were trying to move pieces. So now, when you try to move a piece, it pauses. And then you can try again and it starts moving. So how did I implement it? Well, every tappable piece has something called a click manager in it. If global is not playing, is pressed is true. So it's pressed. If global is playing, level UI, on pause pressed. It thinks the pause button is pressed. That's it. That's all I do. Super easy to implement, and this change is so important. This is why you need playtesters, guys. I know you need to pause the level, but no one else does. Like, I really can't emphasize it enough. It's super important. The player being frustrated about not being able to move pieces is not a good thing. 2 more left. Activators change when activated. This is simple, but, well, the solution was very simple, but it was scary because I was thinking I'd have to work with shaders and stuff, but no, I actually did something very cool. I used the darken function for this color. Let me show you what it looks like first. So red and red, and you can see how it like gets brighter. It's actually not getting brighter, believe it or not. Actually, wait. Is that? Oh, that might be. It looks unshaded. Okay, so we fixed it. apparently just setting the color to the color makes it like, it just completely makes it unshaded. So what we ended up doing was, so when it's deactivated, it sets the color to whatever the color is, darkened plus darkened 0.5. The darkened function is so cool. It is so cool. It takes the color and makes it darker. It's great. It's crazy. It's crazy. And then when it's activated, it sets the color. I did just have it to being set to the color, but it looked unshaded, which was really weird. Now it's the color darkened 0.3. So darkened 0.5, darkened 0.3, and it's still, it's clearly glowing. It's awesome. It's not glowing. There's no light, but it gets brighter. It's very clear that it's being activated. I love it. That's perfect. Finally, localization. We created a strings.csv file, and Godot's localization is really, really awesome. So we have the IDs, then we have the strings in English, and it's going to be strings in German, French, Spanish, Chinese, Japanese. Not sure what languages I should cover. So, and this is every string in the game. So if we go to the game, you'll notice how it's in English. If we go, let's go to the level and click on the text box, you'll see this message, level 1 message. So if we go to projects and localization, you'll see that we have all of our translations, and all you have to do is press add and then find it, which is going to be under strings. All I did to generate those files, all I did was put the CSV file in Godot, and it automatically creates these translation sheets. And then it knows what language I am somehow, and puts the correct string in there. Now there's one thing which is a little more tricky, and that is the randomized end of level messages. So if you noticed, we had different messages here, and they're all translated. So how did I do that? The naive way would be to just place a bunch of labels, right? And then randomly make one visible. But I did it programmatically, and it worked. The translation still worked. So level complete message would be, it just says level completed, and then the message. So let's go into the script. It's super simple. We're exporting out an array of strings, and these strings are the IDs. So level complete message 1, 2, etc. And then all I do is on ready, I randomly choose one of those strings. So text equals messages, and then a random number from 0 to the messages array size -1. So much easier than having one label for every unique message. And now every time I add a message, all I have to do is increase the array size by 1 and then put the ID here. And that's everything for Devlog 2. That is all the stuff I have completed since the last devlog. Now, the next one is going to be currency. It's just going to be currency and maybe some fixes here or there. We'll have the little currency indicator here. You'll be able to buy currency. I'm going to get the in-app purchases are already working. Well, just like in theory, but I'm going to add more in-app purchases to like give you currency and stuff. I'm going to make hints use currency instead of like watching an ad or whatever. It's going to be really exciting. But anyway, I really hope you enjoyed this progress update. Let me know if you like the format of these devlogs. I could show me coding or something. Let me know how you like the video. I'm streaming the development of what you're seeing in this video every weekend. So Saturdays and Sundays. Definitely stop by if you're interested. I'm always taking feedback from people, so you could actually have a direct effect of how this app turns out. And you can also be a tester. Let me know during my stream if you want to be a tester. You have to have Android, but I will add you to the testing list, and you can just download it. It's super cool. Anyway, guys, I do hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good rest of your day. I just wanna be with you.